welcome to Tyler Mini Reads, Reviews, Discusses, Monologues about everything and anything, and that's on period. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, yay! I think I had one too many Red Bulls. Okay, so today I want to talk about something interesting, well, I hope it is, right? I wanted to talk about books or fantasy worlds or fantasy books where I think are very interesting and I wish they would be adapted into series, TV shows, movies, whatever. And we've seen books be adapted like The Witcher, Wheel of Time, and Rings of Power for Lord of the Rings. Well, the other parts of it. Game of Thrones. So we have seen this books like this being you know adapted, and I want to talk about some that I'm like, why are these not being adapted? Like, these are so interesting and fascinating. Like, come on. So the first book that I'm going to be talking about is The Will of the Many. So this one, I mean, I get it. Like, it just came out last year, so maybe it's too soon to start like looking into it. But I mean, this is a really fantastic book, right? It's given like Greek, war and like political themes. I mean, it's so interesting. I want it to be adapted, so I'm just gonna talk about it a little. The Catalan Republic, the hierarchy, may rule the world now, but they do not know everything. I tell them my name is Vis Telemus. I tell them I was orphaned after a tragic accident 3 years ago, and that good fortune alone has led to my acceptance into the most prestigious school. I tell them that once I graduate, I will gladly join the rest of the civilized society in allowing my strength, my drive, and my focus, what they call will, to be leached away and added to the power of those above me, as millions already do, as all must eventually do. That's why it's called The Will of the Many. So there's this like fascinating magic premise going on where you cede your will to someone, and it's like a pyramid scheme where whoever is like the top dog at the top is the one that has all the power, because everyone is literally ceding their powers to him. So the second book is going to come out this year, but I mean, it's not too early. I mean, gods of adopting, come on, pick this up. So let me know if you've read this. This is actually a pretty interesting book. It's super chunky, but I think if you get started on it, you will realize really quickly that it's such a good read. And this is my first book for this author, James Islington. So I'm excited to see what next he comes up with. So the next book that I think should be adapted is The Sword of Kaigen. I know I made a review, I'm not sure. If I have, maybe or not, I don't know. But Sword of Kaigen is set in like feudal Japan, where we have this small peninsula where they are raised as warriors, and they have, for lack of a better word, they've been groomed or brainwashed to believe that they have to defend their country against invaders, right? And so literally the whole book is about war, where I'm not even someone who likes action, but this book has so many other elements in it where we see the point of view of a mother, where she's concerned about her kids, and you can see that in the way that the book is written. Wang is a very, very prolific writer. She wrote this, and she has another book that came out quite recently, and both books have been fantastic, top notch. This I think doesn't need to be a series. It's good as a movie because there's a lot in here. I mean, it's super chunky, but I think this will go for like a good movie where we just kind of get introduced to the Matsuda family, and what's going on, the family dynamics between the mom, the dad, and the kids. A lot of things happen where you're super surprised and you're like, oh my God. So, I mean, I hope this is one that sounds interesting enough for a studio to pick. Again, it doesn't even have to be like a series. A good, just regular old one movie is good because, it's a standalone. It's not a trilogy or a duology, so everything's just one and done in this one book. So the next book that I wish or I hope would be like a adapted is The Shadow of Gods by John Gwynne. This is actually completed. I know the last book came out this year, so it's probably asking a lot. But I mean, this is like Vikings. So good. So when I first started reading this is the first book, by the way, The Shadow of the Gods. When I first started reading this book, I was like, I'm not really into Vikings. It's not really my thing, but it was quickly my thing. I think John Gwynne is a very fantastic writer in the way he crafts his story. And so you, apart from like the weird sounding names, right? Because there's a lot of weird names in there where I honestly can't pronounce the names. But I think it's still a great enough premise. It's epic, right? There's 3 books and there's like major wars that go on or major fight scenes that he writes about so well. And so I'm thinking like this one, what do you think? I think this one will be more of a Netflix show, like maybe 5 episodes or 6 episodes. Nothing too long because everything is kind of like, I mean, actually it could go more because there's stuff that John Green doesn't even go into in this whole trilogy because he doesn't give us the history about Snaka and where Snaka comes from. Let me actually read a synopsis. When the gods fought, it was a war so savage they destroyed themselves, leaving nothing but their bones and the broken land of Vigrid in their wake. Now, as whispers of war echoes over the fords and across the plains, fate follows in the footsteps of 3 warriors: a huntress on a perilous quest, a noblewoman pursuing battle fame, and a troll seeking retribution among the mercenaries known as Bloodsport. Oh, one thing to mention is that in this book, there's also a mom who you can see is also concerned about her kid. So that's a very interesting tangent, just because most shows, books, whatever, follow men going through quests and stuff like that. So it's always very interesting to read a woman strong and very able and capable doing very dangerous things. So this one, yeah, like I said, maybe like a Netflix gods, I hope you're here. This is a good one to pick up. It's completed, and we never get a lot of detail into what happens before. When we start the war between the gods is already over. So that's something that John Gwynne could actually, add and make it like a 8 episode Netflix. Look at me already like directing the movie, the show. Okay, so the next book or the next like series that I think should be or could be maybe adapted is Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. Sorry. Where, okay, so this book I did not really like. Book 3, book 2 was also not really my fave, but I will definitely watch a show. This particular Black Sun, I have watched it. I've read the book like 3 times. So this just by itself is a very good read, right? And it's like pre-Columbia South American kind of vibe. So it's not something that we see as like epic fantasy stories. So this will really be a great one to invest for a show. I also can see like a Amazon, like I don't know why I keep saying Amazon, Netflix, maybe like 8 episodes, because there is a lot of people that we follow in the books. There's a lot of tribes. It's mostly about warring tribes where there's like the crow and then the turtle. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And then there's like mermaids. So there's a lot of tribes here that we can follow. It says book one of the Between Earth and Sky trilogy, inspired by the civilizations of pre-Columbian Americas and woven into a tale of celestial prophecies, political intrigue, and forbidden magic. So I actually did a detailed review on this book already on somewhere on my channel. I'll link it below. But yeah, this was a very good book. I definitely would watch if this was adopted because wow. Like I said, pre-Columbia South American teams is not something we see as in fantasy. They do more action films. So it would be great if we could see more of this. And it's also a different kind of magic from like the Wheel of Time, where it's, just literally a chosen one. Where, I mean, this book also has a chosen one, but it's done in a different way and a different type of magic. So and I don't think it would be too much to adapt it. There's not a lot of like magical things they have to do. It's more animals and connection with animals and like some other stuff. So like doing like, coming up with like ways to interpret the magic wouldn't be hard for this book. The next book I'm going to talk about, on the other hand, is something I feel will be a lot harder to adapt, and I don't know if we will ever get it adapted in my time. I hope, but I pray. But my favorite author of the whole wide world, Brandon Sanderson's The Stormlight Archive. I did not go for Miss Bun, which I think Miss Bun was actually closer to being adapted. He already has 5 books in this epic story where he plans to write 10 books. So again, I honestly will say that this is not something that's going to be adapted anytime soon. Well, maybe not, because Game of Thrones was still being written while the show was airing. So we may have a shot. But the only problem is the way this magic system is set up is it's a bit different. It's not so hard, but there's just like a lot of elements to it, a lot of different types of magics and stuff. So I don't know if this will. I hope, it's one of my favorite series ever in the whole wide world. I have a detailed review coming up on the Stormlight Archive by itself, so whenever you want to learn more, I'm not gonna go deep into it. But yeah, we have books 1 to 5, and as you can see, they're super chunky. So this will have to be like a 10 series 10 series books, because it's there's just a lot to go in. I would really love to see this on screen. I know people are more thinking Miss Bun will get adapted first because Miss Bun is maybe smaller. Who knows, right? So this book is set in something called the Cosmere. So think of like MCU universe kind of thing, where Miss Bun is also another book in that space. The last and final book that I wanted to talk about will be Night Rain by Jen Williams. Now, Night Rain is very unlike any book I have ever read. It's set in this like old, I don't want to say old English kind of world, and there's aliens, there's like this kind of different kind of species from humans. There's like weird creatures, there's a witch. So there's a lot going on, and it's one of the weirdest books I've read for sure. I think this would be good as a movie as well. I'll just read it really quickly. The city of Ebora once glittered with gold. Now its streets are stalked by wolves. Tourmaline the Oathless has no taste for waiting to die, while the realm of his ancestors falls to pieces. Talk about a guilt trip. So Night Rain is a trilogy. There's 2 other books in the series. I read it a couple years back, and this remains one of my top 5-star reads. It's very weird, and I actually will read it again, but I don't even know how to explain this book, and that's why I feel like it is such a great addition to books to be adapted, because like there's a lot of materials. And did I mention the aliens? Yeah, there's weird, like legit aliens, not just like, oh yeah, like there's weird aliens. So this is a really good book. One thing I would mention is Jen Williams is a UK author, so these books are sometimes on Amazon, sometimes they're not. And I know with the new tariffs and stuff, shipping might be weird. Even getting the ebook was a bit complicated. So I don't know. Hopefully you're able to get it. You have good luck if you want to read this. But this is definitely a really good book. I definitely highly recommend if you like fantasy and you want it a different way. This is a good one to start with. So yeah. So yeah, let me know if you have any other books that you've read that you would want them to get adapted. And yeah, we can discuss in the comments below. But thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. As always, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Have a nice day. Bye.